A single error on the alien marriage forms, and suddenly three stunning sisters insist he's their husband. Beginning. The spaceport of Valera was loud, colorful, and overwhelming. Exactly the kind of place where a tired human mechanic could get lost in paperwork. Jack Mercer had been running cargo runs between colonies for the last 5 years, fixing freighters, patching reactors, and trying not to offend customs officials. But today, exhaustion betrayed him. He was filling out docking forms at the Registry of Unionized Settlements, the kind of endless bureaucratic paperwork that kept Valera's trade routes flowing. The officer behind the counter, a tall, blue-skinned clerk with eyes that never seemed to blink, spoke in a dry monotone. Form 77C, Declaration of Affiliation. Section B, Dependent Kinship. If applying for long-term stay, sign here for interspecies cultural exchange programs. Jack, half asleep, muttered, "Yeah, sure," and scribbled his signature. He didn't notice that Section B wasn't just a declaration of cultural exchange. It was a binding marital recognition clause meant for species that practiced polyhouses. By the time he realized something was off, it was too late. The stamp glowed gold. The form was official. And 3 days later, 3 alien women stood at his rented quarters, their long hair shimmering in the neon light, their gazes equally curious and possessive. The eldest stepped forward, regal in bearing. "By the laws of Valera, you are now bonded to the House of Kale." She tilted her head, her voice both warning and amused. "And we are your wives." Jack's coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Middle. The sisters were breathtaking, each in their own way. Sarah, the eldest, was sharp-featured, with the calm authority of someone used to commanding rooms. She wore ceremonial silver bands on her arms and moved with a precision that reminded Jack of military officers. Lyra, the middle sister, was softer, all warmth and quiet smiles, with eyes that seemed to study his soul. She asked about his work, his homeworld, even his scars, curious but never intrusive. Vera, the youngest, was chaos embodied. She burst into his apartment like a storm, laughed at his outdated tools, and immediately started poking around his ship to make sure it won't explode. Jack, utterly lost, held his hands up. "Wait, hold on, this is all a mistake. I didn't mean to marry anyone." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Your signature carries weight, human. The registry does not make mistakes." Vera grinned. "Oh, but you did." Lyra touched his arm gently. "You don't have to be afraid. The House of Kale does not treat bonds as cages. But the contract, it binds us all the same." For days, Jack tried to untangle the bureaucracy. He went to the registry, demanded annulment, waved his hands at clerks who only shrugged. The golden seal shimmered every time he mentioned mistake, glowing as though mocking him. The contract was binding, irreversible unless all parties agreed to sever it. And the sisters? They weren't in any hurry. "You are useful," Sarah admitted one evening. "Our house lost its patron last year. With you, we regain legal standing in the council." "You're kind," Lyra added softly. "You fixed Vera's shuttle without even being asked." "You make good coffee," Vera declared, already stealing half his food supplies. Jack groaned. "So I'm just what? Your political loophole." Sarah's lips curved. "You're more than that now, whether you like it or not." Conflict. Things grew complicated fast. Word spread through Valera that the Kale sisters had claimed a human husband. Whispers filled the markets. Humans were rare here, and the sight of one bonded into a powerful house stirred both admiration and envy. Rivals emerged. One particularly smug noble, Lord Thane, confronted Jack at a council session. "This human is a fraud," Thane spat. "The Kale sisters conspire to use an off-worlder to reclaim influence. I demand the bond be tested in ritual." Jack blinked. "A ritual?" Sarah's jaw tightened. "A challenge. They question your worthiness. If we fail, our house is dissolved." The ritual, as it turned out, wasn't just symbolic. It was a brutal trial of unity, testing bondmates in strength, wit, and loyalty. The first stage dropped Jack into a combat ring with a drone designed to mimic predator instincts. He had no plasma blade, no shield, just his mechanics toolkit. The audience jeered. The human will die in seconds. But Jack had fought worse machines in scrapyards. He yanked out his plasma cutter, overloaded its coil, and lured the drone into a trap. Sparks erupted as it collapsed. The sisters watched from the sidelines, astonishment clear in their eyes. Stage 2 tested intellect. A labyrinth of alien logic puzzles projected around them, each requiring synchrony of thought. Jack struggled, but Lyra linked their minds through a neural interface, guiding him with patience until he caught the rhythm. Their voices overlapped in harmony, unlocking the last seal. The final stage tested loyalty. Jack was presented with two paths, one that guaranteed his escape and one that risked his life to protect the sisters. The council expected him to choose self-preservation. Instead, Jack stepped forward without hesitation. I didn't ask for this bond, but if it means leaving them behind, then I'll stay. I don't abandon crew. Not ever. The chamber fell silent. Even Thane had no rebuttal. The bond seal flared brighter than ever, binding them not by accident, but by choice. Climax. That night, everything changed. The sisters regarded him differently, not as a legal mistake, but as something far more dangerous, a man they could trust. Vera punched his arm playfully. Not bad for a clueless human. Lyra touched his scarred hand, whispering, "You risked yourself without hesitation," and Sarah, usually composed, allowed herself the faintest smile. "You may not have chosen us, Jack Mercer, but today, you proved why fate did." Yet danger wasn't over. Thane, humiliated, launched a direct assault on their household. Armed mercenaries stormed Jack's quarters at dawn. Explosions shook the walls. Jack grabbed his plasma wrench. Guess annulment's off the table now. Side by side with the sisters, he fought back. Vera hot-wired defense turrets. Lyra shielded them with her psionic barriers. Sarah carved through soldiers with the precision of a commander. And Jack, sweating, cursing, laughing through the chaos, kept the systems running, sealed breaches, and at one point smashed a merc with a toolbox. By sunrise, their enemies were routed. The council could no longer deny the bond's legitimacy. The House of Kale stood united, stronger than before. Ending. Weeks later, Jack sat on the balcony of the sisters' estate, staring at twin suns rising over Valera. His life as a lonely mechanic was gone. In its place, he had something unexpected. A family. He still grumbled about the paperwork. All because I signed the wrong box. Sarah joined him, regal as ever, but her eyes softer now. Sometimes mistakes reveal truths we didn't know we needed. Lyra brought him coffee, her smile warm. You don't regret it anymore, do you? Vera threw an arm around his shoulders and cackled. If you do, too bad. You're stuck with us. Jack sighed, a grin tugging at his lips. Yeah, I guess there are worse mistakes to make. And as the golden bond seal shimmered faintly across his wrist, he realized that fate, or maybe just very bad paperwork,